For writers who first outline their manuscripts, outlining is done in order to know without any doubt where they're going. Outlining is used as a roadmap, as a navigational tool to help them cross the oceans and seas of storytelling and writing. Outliners often claim their technique of writing to be superior to that of pantsers, writers who write intuitively or organically. But, as we've pointed out in previous lessons, it's not so much about right or wrong, but about what works best for a particular writer, and above all, about writing powerful and effective prose that touches and delights readers. According to Kay Moyland, outliners don't need to stick to rigid rules. The author is the master of the outline, not the slave. And according to Francine Prose, she writes as she reads, taking it word for word, sentence for sentence, putting each word on trial for its life. Outlining is about preparation, similar to the training and preparations mountaineers subject themselves to before scaling a mountain. No serious mountaineer will attempt Everest without meticulous preparation. You don't just buy a plane ticket and fly to Nepal and start climbing. No, you do your research, get proper equipment, start exercising, you join a mountaineering group and start training by doing smaller climbs, building your ability in preparation for the big climb. Keeping in mind, preparation takes time and effort, but it will pay dividends. It's all about what works and streamlines one's writing process. Whether one leans toward outlining a novel or a manuscript or writing intuitively, it makes sense to first write down a premise, a proposition sentence for the story. In a single sentence, state what the story is about. It's also called an elevator pitch. The main character wants something but is prevented from obtaining it. Flesh out your story from that single sentence to a concise 100-word copy of what you would like to read on the back cover of the book. What will compel your reader to turn from the back cover to the front and open the book and start reading? Add more muscle and detail to your back cover blurb by building it up to a 500-word summary or synopsis. Do this by asking endless why and what if questions. Soon, you can be on your way toward outlining your story. If we summarize the outline method, it goes as follows. Start and write a premise sentence. What is the story about? Expand this premise sentence to a 100-word summary. Expand this then to a 500-word summary. Next, you can build it up to a 1,000-word summary by elaborating on your plot line and secondary characters, adding possible obstacles, constantly asking why and what if. Then you can go into character sketches, look into the background, flaws, strengths, dreams, aspirations of your characters, keeping in mind that physical characteristics should never overshadow their personality. Add scenes and settings, and then when you start thinking in terms of chapters, remember, obstacles are king. What can go wrong in each chapter? In each chapter you will then add twists and surprises by keep letting things go wrong, but in believable ways. Constantly keeping the characters frustrated. You connect the dots between the plot and the subplots, and this will propel your story forward towards the unavoidable conclusion. And throughout, remain cognizant of focusing more on showing and less telling. Don't tell the reader the character is sad or upset. Show it through dialogue and action. Don't tell them the moon is shining. Show them the glint of moonlight on broken glass. Learn to use the 5 senses and include that in your writing. Don't say it rains. Rather, let the reader smell the rain. Let them get drenched to the bone. Let them feel the cold. Let them listen to the drumbeat of rain on a tin roof. Don't be afraid to write from your heart, to be vulnerable, to be brave and bold. And keep in mind, tension based on internal and interpersonal conflict is more effective in driving the story forward than action sequences. The former will make your reader invest emotionally in his story. At the heart of tension is unmet desire, says Stephen James, not action. Outlining a novel or a manuscript has advantages and disadvantages. If we look at the pros for outlining, it makes for more reliable writing, less hit and run or hit and miss. It is more clear where you're heading. It remains focused on a set plot and subplots. It can definitely make for more reliable and faster writing. A detailed outline can be seen as a first draft. Foreshadowing can be more effective. Knowledge of what is going to happen. Characterization and voice can be more effective. And if written in longhand, it definitely has other advantages, which we will go into in a moment. On the downside with outlining, it can be more time-consuming, and strict adherence to an outline can make the work lack in spontaneity. Often a writer can become so engrossed and caught up in the structure of the outline that the work lacks being tension-driven. And it is possible that the work can feel more stick-like, as if painted by a number, leaving a cookie-cutter taste in the mouth. It can stump the creativity of the writer. And it can also quickly become the master of the writer and not its slave. And at some point, the writer has to leave the outline and start with the actual writing. Now, many writers do their outline by writing in longhand, and that has certain advantages instead of using a keyboard. According to Kane Weiland, its specific advantages is it intentionally slows the writer down. It enforces spontaneity. Editing is more arduous. It's more messy, once again forcing spontaneity. It enforces writing onto a more primal level. And when writing in a notebook in longhand, there are definitely less distractions than when one is on a computer connected online. Doing the transcription onto the computer can be seen as the first revision, and by completing the first outline in longhand, one already has the first hard copy. We write for many reasons. Francine Prose argues that many books are born out of pain, out of anger, out of an unquenchable desire to change the world, born out of struggle and despair, in an attempt to bring about change and transformation and hope. We all have stories inside us, stories worth telling. Don't give up too easily on telling yours, on writing down your story. Read more, or listen to audiobooks. Cultivate the habit of writing regularly, preferably daily. Read with more attention, practice, experiment. Learn from the masters and hone your craft. We read books and write books for this simple truth, to discover its soul. According to Betsy Lerner, books have soul. Books, fiction, non-fiction, and poetry are filled with stories, with tales, with life, loss. It's about beauty and sorrow. And yes, it has soul. You can learn to write your stories. And your stories matter. You can learn to write your stories by first outlining it. So let's get started.